Hello everyone, hope we're all doing well. Hope you've had a fantastic weekend, whatever you've got up to during this international break. If you're anything like me, you've been doing a list of to-do jobs that you've been putting off since the last international break about 3 weeks ago. It's too much, isn't it? I love international football, I actually do. But to have the second international break after 8 games in the Premier League, the second one, it's just a bit too far for me. And this has been a good one for me. Scotland are qualified for the Euros in Germany. Happy days. But yeah, get club football back. I'm really missing it. So roll on Sunday when we take on Aston Villa. But West Ham chit-chat, it's not everyone's favourite topic. The transfer window, transfer budget. I know it's not everyone's favourite cup of tea. But it's the international break. It's slim picking. So we've got to make do with what's being reported out there. Now, I'm assuming you've all seen the reports or you've seen Gonzo's video from Saturday. But if not, basically, top source at the club has suggested that West Ham have got no money to spend in the January transfer window. Shock horror, I know. But there's one word I've got for that. Bollocks. I don't believe it in the slightest. However, I'm very relaxed about it. It didn't wind me up whatsoever. I read it. Well, why would the club say anything else other than we've got no money to spend? It's a line they've always said, and we've gone on to spend money in the transfer. I mean, admittedly, they've said it, and sometimes we've gone on and spent nothing in the transfer window, so they were actually telling the truth. But I think there's usually an intention to spend money. It's just that we perhaps haven't been the best at negotiating with the players we've wanted, or pursued some players for too long and then we ran out of time, etc, etc. There's a whole host of reasons. But traditionally in the January transfer window under this board, if we're in a relegation battle, their purse will get opened and money will be spent. But when we're doing quite well in the league, we tend not to spend money. And that frustrates me. So the report doesn't frustrate me, but the lack of spending in previous seasons in the January transfer window has done. Because we will never know what we could have done had we gone in and got a really good player. We did it with Jesse Lingard, didn't we? Albeit on loan, but he came in and we saw the impact he made. We went from 4th to 6th. I'm joking, alright. I think he was fantastic for us, and we stayed in the top 6 of the Premier League and qualified for the Europa League, obviously. Big impact from him. But that's few and far between. But like I said, when we're in trouble, we do it. We spent money on Danny Ings, spent money on Jared Bowen. We basically committed 20 million to Thomas Souček, of 4 million loan fee, 60 million if we stayed in Premier League, which obviously we did. So we will spend money when we're down the bottom. It's just when we're near the top, perhaps they're a little bit reluctant. So West Ham having no money to spend in January, well, that's probably not the case. It's probably we don't want to spend money in January. It's two different things, because when you formulate an opinion, you call on previous opinions regarding this topic or people involved, but you also call upon evidence in order to formulate your opinion. And all we have to do is go back into the summer, the last few days of the summer transfer window. Our technical director, Tim Steiden, who has been photographed on his private jet with our new signings, he's been posing with the new players, etc. He was in Brazil. We know he was. He was in Brazil trying to sign a striker with a handful of days left in the summer transfer window. So there is money there. We've made a player trading profit in the summer. Yes, we spent a lot of money, but we also took in a lot of money. We got the 105 million for Declan Rice. Well, 100 million plus potential a bit more. So we've got the 100 million for Declan Rice. We've got the 25 million for Skamaka. We've got the 8 million for Vlasic. We've got the 20 quid for Masuaku. So the club did take in some money while we spent big. But player trading wise and keeping it simple, we actually generated a profit in the summer. So there is money there should we want to spend it. But should we want to spend it? That's what I'm going to be talking about in the second half of this video. Now, before I do, I'm just going to promote the online store for a second, because we've got a couple of products I want to show you. But when I posted it on the community post the other day regarding the beer mat, someone said it was tat and we're forcing you lot to buy it. So just to be clear, what I'm going to show you now, if you think it's tat, don't buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But should you want to buy it, there's a link in the description and pinned comments of this video where you can go and purchase said items. Now there's two. There's a beer mat product, and then there's something that we haven't promoted anywhere, so you've literally waited to see it for the first time, but it's a pre-sale product, and we'll tell you why in a second. So first up, we've got the beer mat, which is 6 beer mats celebrating that night in Prague. Now all the artwork's done by Cannon Town Line. There's 2 different artworks, so they're reversible. On one side you've got like a mosaic style image of the players lifting the trophy. So there you go. You piece them together, you will get the team lifting the trophy. So six different beer mats. A mini puzzle for you, if you like. Then on the other side, they've actually got a map of Prague with some Czech beer brands there for you to put together if you wish. So if you fancy getting your hands on some of the beer mats, then link is in the description. But the pre-sale item, now this is something I've seen, I thought it was quite a cool little gift, and I thought we'd get involved and promote it because the person that's selling them is just starting out. He's a decent lad, he does a good job, to be honest with you, and that is tickets. Obviously, in this day and age, you don't really get tickets anymore. It's all digital. But this is the Conference League final sort of replica ticket. He's designed it himself. So if you fancy grabbing one, you can do via our store. But not only that, what you do is you put in your details of the ticket. So if you were in Prague, you can put in your stand, entrance, block, row, seat number, price, etc., etc. This will be put on your ticket as well as your name. So where it says Hammers Chat, it will have your name. You go on our website, you buy one of these, you put in the details, and then at the end of this month, at the end of October, we're going to send all the orders to the maker of the ticket. He'll get them all made up, send them to me, and we at Hammers Chat will post them out to you. So you can grab your digital ticket if you wish. If you weren't there, you can still buy one. Just say that you weren't at the game, and we will just put in generic seats for you. So it's a handy little thing if you're wishing to create a display with beer mats we're forcing to buy. And the second one, I won't blabber on too much about it, it's just a team sheet from the night there, so you can grab one or both via our store as well as the beer mats. We've got some more items coming very soon, but those tickets are pre-sale only, so we'll order what gets ordered, but we won't be purchasing anything on top of that. Anyway, link in description and the pin comments. Thank you to anyone that does head over to the store and grab some items. Now back to should we spend. And I think there's one sort of big-ish problem in regards to January transfer window, because I would like to see us do it. And we've done it under every manager, under David Sullivan, where we've been in a good position going into the January transfer window, but we don't spend money. We've done it under David Moyes. We've been, this season when we finished 7th, we didn't do anything in January. We ended up finishing 7th, semi-final Europa League, but imagine we bought one player, just one player. They're not all going to have the impact of Bowen or Souček or Jesse Lingard. But out of our 4 players I've just mentioned, and Danny Ings is the 4th one, 3 of them have had an immediate success at West Ham, a huge impact. So imagine David Moyes got one of them every single January. Because I'll always argue it's a myth that Moyes won't play players from the start. That Moyes has to have them settle into. He doesn't. There's more players that has gone straight into the starting 11 under David Moyes and has to sit on the bench and wait their turn kind of thing. But anyway, we finished 7th that season. Moyes wasn't backed. Sam Allardyce had us 4th at Christmas, wasn't backed. Slaven Bilic had us in with a shout of Champions League football, final year at Upton Park, wasn't backed. Did we go get players? Yes. We've gone and got players like Jordan Hugo, Emenike. I got him muddled up the other day with Hugo Ekitike. Emmanuel Emenike, we went and signed him. So we can sometimes do business, but it's not good. We don't really substantially back it. If we're not in a relegation battle, it feels like traditionally under this board, we're not that arsed about spending money in the January transfer window. But so I always thought, well, what if we could have achieved more? It was brilliant finishing 7th. It's kind of successful getting to the Europa Conference League semi-finals. What happens if we managed to go get one player that could have made a difference? We might have got 6. We might have done better in the Europa League. We will never know. We will never know. But what we do know is we didn't buy anyone in the January transfer window. This season's gone quite well so far. I think if you were Tim Steidten right now and you're trying to plan how you were going to spend money in the future at West Ham, whether it be in January or next summer, I think you'd be quite comfortable right now to say that we will be in the Premier League next season. It feels comfortable to say that. We've had a really good start, and it would take something drastic for it to go wrong and us end up in a relegation battle. Because not only have we had a solid start and we're looking good, the bottom of the Premier League is looking like a shambles. So Luton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Everton, the teams down there look well off the pace. I don't think we'll be anywhere near relegation battle. So technically, Tim Steidten could be and should be planning for life in the Premier League next season. What he doesn't know is if we're going to be in European football. But this is a whole conundrum. Should we invest in January? Maybe we will be playing European football next season again. That is, at the minute, that's what's possibly up for grabs. We won't know until Christmas time whether we're in with a shout of European football, but we should prepare for it. But here's the biggest problem for me. The manager. And I say the manager, let me rephrase that. Here's the biggest problem for me. The manager's contract situation. There we go. It's not David Moyes per se. It's the fact that he would only have 5 months left on his contract. Can you go and back that manager in the January transfer window? Probably not. Should we? Again, probably not. Does he deserve to be back? Well, I think he does. If there is money there, which I don't see why there wouldn't be, then of course he would deserve to be back. Why wouldn't he? All managers should be back. If there's money to spend on players and the manager wants to go and buy players, I don't see why you shouldn't do it. And that's not just West Ham, that's any club. Listen, if you're floating in 13th in the season, 13th in the league, you ain't getting a European football, you ain't going down. I can understand why you think, hey, let's just save that money for a rainy day. But you're in with a chance of achieving something. You probably should go and back your manager, because the Conference League, for example, now granted we had to win it, but the Conference League was worth 13 million to West Ham. That's how much prize money we earn. So that doesn't take into consideration ticket sales, any merchandise, etc., etc. In terms of prize money from UEFA, West Ham earned, I think it was something like 14 million euros, so 13 million pounds, something like that. But we also then qualified for the Europa League this season, which is an extra 3.5 million or something just for getting into the group stage Europa League. But let's ignore this season's one. Last season it was worth 13 million, but we had to win it. But there you go. That's how much it's potentially worth getting European football, and that's the lesser competition. Now, obviously, in regards to the player, you've got to take into consideration agents' fees, which is an all-time high as always. You've got players' wages, etc., etc. So it's not just £13 million extra to buy a player. You've got to take in all the other expenses, but it could make a huge difference. But with David Moyes' contract running low, it'd be interesting to see what we do in January. Maybe it is the loan market. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what we look to do. We've also got to consider the squad. At the minute, if you look at the Premier League squad, we've got one space. We can register one player. That's it. It doesn't matter if they're homegrown or not. There's a space for a non-homegrown player in there. It's fine. But this is without selling anybody. If we start selling players, then suddenly you've got a little bit of jiggery-pokery to do with your numbers. But right now, we can sign someone and put them in. The Europa League squad, however, like I said, is more complicated. There's no room. There's no spaces because of our lack of academy-born players at West Ham. We've only got 3. We need 4. We've only got 3. So there's a vacancy in that squad, and it has to be a vacancy. It can only be filled by someone that's trained at the academy. So unless we're signing Josh Cullen in January, that squad ain't getting bigger. So we put someone in, someone's got to come out. Now, there's a few candidates I think we could suggest could come out of that squad. Maxwell Cornet is probably the number 1 at the minute. He is, let's be honest with you, he's probably the number 1 candidate. Creswell could leave, but again, you've got to then bring in a homegrown player. You can't have Creswell come out the squad and put someone in that isn't homegrown. So they need to be careful with this squad, but they'll be aware of that. I'm not telling them anything they don't know. So wiggle room wise, we're restricted in January. Financially, bollocks. I don't think there's restriction. And I know people say FFP, well, I'll be honest with you, since I spoke to Keane Maguire and asked about it, and he said, watch list, don't worry about it, you're on there because you were spending a lot of money, but it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. But and then says, okay, away from that, what does it mean, FFP, how restricted are we? Don't worry about it, you're fine, you're well within the FFP regulations and stuff. Now, if there's a guy that's an expert in football finance and teaches football finance at universities and is used by the BBC, Sky Sports, BT Sports, that's good enough for me. So when he says this is the rules with FFP, I'm going to believe him. And when he says West Ham are fine to spend money, I'm inclined to believe him as well. So is there money to spend? I think there probably is. Should the club announce there's money to spend? No. I think they've done the right thing. No money. None. Will they spend it? Well, that's the interesting one, isn't it? Because now we've got Tim Steid in here. Hopefully something's different. Hopefully he's the driving force. I said, hang on a minute, I've got a guy that we can go get that's going to make a difference. Will we? It's difficult to say yes, but we'll wait and see. It depends on the situation. Listen, if our form tails off and we're 13th in the league, I'd rather not spend it, truth be told. I'd rather us just sit on it for the summer. Whether it's Moyes again or a new manager, that we're able to go in the summer. Because while that old thing is hard to buy players in January, it can be a bit frustrating. It's probably true. It probably is more difficult. It's probably more expensive to buy players in January than it is this summer, because you're being an inconvenience to the club that you're trying to buy players from. All we have to do is go back to Leeds when we were trying to get Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. There's no way they were selling us those players. But in the summer, both of them left. Anyway, there you go. So when I saw the rumours, I thought, bollocks. But do you know what? I'm not bothered in the slightest. Maybe I'm just a bit too chilled out this season for some reason. But looking forward to football coming back. I say football. I'm looking forward to club football coming back on Sunday. But it's been a good international break for the old Scottish. We've done all right. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to disappear now. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know what with. But if you fancy getting your digital ticket, if you fancy getting a paper copy of your digital, it's card, by the way. There you go. It's good quality stuff. But you can go, links in description. Fancy some beer mats. But remember, if you think it's tat, don't buy it. Let someone else buy it. Anyway, if you like this video, drop a like on it. It's kind of you to have a chat. I'll catch you tomorrow.